Ooh, I got a hell of a clutch to show you guys today. Clutch number 10 is out of the egg, and the results are just absolutely mind-blowing. Fantastic. So here's mom. She is a Pastel Mojave Enchi, otherwise known as a Pastel Mochi. She actually just ate a big 225-gram rat yesterday, so she's kind of coiled up right now. Just wanted to give you guys a look at her. She's a monster. Whoa, I thought the male here just bit me in the leg, but it was just his tail. Um, so we actually produced her about 3 years ago, and like I say in all my videos, it's cool when you get to see your let me stop shaking this. I'm shaking because of all the excitement. But yeah, it's cool to see animals that you produce go full term and actually produce babies for you themselves. So I mean, it's always cool to raise up any like snake and then have it finally produce for you, but there's just something that I find is a little bit more special about, you know, seeing this little girl come out of her egg 3 years ago, getting so excited when we realized we hit on a Pastel Mochi female, and now seeing her at this size. I mean, she is just gigantic for a snake that's only about 3 years old. So I'm gonna actually show you the male who we produced as well. So this male right here is a Firefly, and I don't know if you guys could see, but he actually only has one eye. This is Winky, our only snake that actually has a name. We produced this guy. He was the first Firefly we produced. Don't want to bother him too much, but he was the first Firefly we ever produced, and he came out of one of those infamous boob eggs. And you could see that I think he actually does have a little bit of an eye, but the scales like grew over it basically. He has a tiny eye that scales grew over. But this little guy here is 5 years old, and he's produced a bunch of clutches for us in the past. When we had initially decided to keep him because of the defect with the eye, we thought, okay, we'll breed him once, and if it proves that it's genetic, if his babies end up with, you know, only one eye as well, then we'll stop breeding him. Maybe we'll sell him to somebody we know as a pet. But he has never produced a baby with a kink, with any kind of defect to it. So it was really just the boob egg and maybe an incubation thing that caused that genetic defect. But he's 5 years old, and we keep him relatively lean. This guy, all of our fires, because we actually started with fires. We started with fires even before we started with hypos. And we used to, like, I don't want to say we were known for our fires, but we produced a bunch of fires, and all of our fires always came out really clean, and they ate really well for us. We actually sold most of our fire stuff off. He is actually the only fire in our collection right now. He's a Firefly, a pastel fire. And let's actually just take a look at mom's face, because mom is actually spectacular for what she is. And it looks like she may be going into a shed here pretty soon, but she is just a beautiful animal. Her brother, who we also kept as a keeper, doesn't look nearly as nice as her. And again, I have pretty big hands, guys. I take a large size glove, most of the times extra large, and you can see, like, compared to my hand, she is just a beast. But enough of that, let's take a look at these amazing babies that we managed to produce this year. Alright guys, let's have a look at what we got here. Here we go. Give you guys a look at the first animal. And some of this stuff, as usual, I'm not too sure exactly what it is. We'll have to wait till they shed to be certain. So, this right here is just a straight pastel. If I could try to have it come out a little bit. There you go. So this right here, just a pastel, nothing else going on. Pastel. Could I have sounded like less enthused about that animal? To be honest with you guys, though, when we do hit on single incomplete dominance, we put them in our store, though, and they sell like almost instantly. So it's not a big issue for us. if, you know, we hit bad odds on occasion. We have one clutch that was just absolutely brutal. We were looking to hit more crystals, and almost every single baby in the clutch is just a Mojave with nothing else in it. But we find all these animals good homes. We make sure that our buyers are always well informed. And most of these single codom stuff, these slightly less expensive animals, they end up getting a really nice, you know, 40-gallon cage when they end up as adults. And they live in aquariums, and they're kept just as pets primarily. So this right here is a fire. A fire, well, I don't want to say it looks kind of normal looking, because if you were to put this animal next to a real normal, you would see that this is just way more yellow on the top and a lot more orange on the side. Let's see if we could get him to come out a little bit. All right, there is a fire. All right, now things are going to start to get a little bit more interesting. We will go to the first animal that I'm not too sure on, and that is this little guy right here. I am fairly certain that this is just a super pastel, but it may actually be a superfly. Of course, it's not like showing up too great on the camera. I find like when I take these videos and I try to focus in on the animals, it really like, well, that's pretty much how it looks actually. Forget what I just said. I film all these videos on my iPhone 6S, and I have no idea what I'm doing with the camera settings, guys, I'll be honest. So sometimes you'll see in my videos that things all of a sudden get brighter or lighter. So from now on, I'm just going to tell you guys when it looks like, what it actually looks like in person. So this is a pretty accurate colors on this thing right here. So you can see the ultra faded head, blushed out of its mind. So this is at the very least a super pastel. I don't think there's fire in there, but if I'm honest with you, I had to Google like superflies and a bunch of other combinations right before this video, and some superflies do look a little bit like this, but I'm convinced it's just a super pastel. But just like with the banana stuff, which by the way, that video will be up soon, I had a lot of things come up. There's just so much animals being hatched out and being born here every day that it's kind of hard to stay on top of things. But if you guys think this is a super fly, or if you think I'm right and that's just a super pastel, please let me know. Alright, so now we're going to kick things up a notch. Okay, so this next one here, I'm pretty sure, and we got our pastel trying to escape. Alright, so this thing right here, to me, this is a Mojave Enchi fire. I think. Just because it does have kind of a faded head, so it looks kind of like the pastel mochis that we've hatched in the past, like his mom basically, but it's almost too dark. It's not yellow enough, it's more orangey, and you can see these like ridiculous flame patterns on the sides. So when we've hatched out regular mochis in the past, they have brown heads. This thing you could see here clearly does not have a brown head, it has a faded head. But again, the rest of the body tells me that it's just too dark to be a pastel. But you always hear me say it, I could be wrong. You know, we did do Firefly to Pastel Mochi, so a lot of this stuff is going to have pastel in it. So maybe this is just a pastel mochi, but it's a very nice one to say the least. But I think there may be a fire in there. Let me know what you guys think. Sometimes you guys say stuff that in the comments that I'm totally not thinking of, but then when you guys let me know what you think it is, that like opens my eyes, and then I'm like, oh yeah, it could be that. So, I mean, you guys were really helpful, to be honest with you, on the banana clutch. So let's focus back in. This guy just wants to take a cruise. And see, this is an example where all of a sudden things get really dark. So, yeah, that's the real color. Alright, 6 minutes in. We're going kind of slow here. I'll show you guys this thing. This thing is really cool. Joseph has wanted to hit one of these for a little while. And I'm a huge fan of yellow snakes. I love carpet pythons. I love anything yellow, really. But this guy here is awesome. So, what we believe this is a Firefly Enchi. So, I'm going to show you guys this thing's spectacular head. If he'll let me. But, I mean, you could just see, like, how insanely reduced the pattern is. Well, insanely reduced. Kind of reduced. It's basically a very banded animal. You might hear a saw in the background, guys. Nothing I could do about that. Sorry in advance, especially if you're listening to this on earphones. You may want to lower the volume a bit. There he is. There's the head. Alright. And there goes the saw as I continue to mess around. There you go. Alright, so this is actually the first Enchi animal that we have produced that has that awesome headband. And I'll tell you what I mean by headband, but he closed himself up again. You know, it's funny when you're messing with ball pythons, like sometimes you forget like how other snakes react to this type of handling. If this was a carpet python or basically anything else other than a ball python, I probably would have been bit like plenty of times right there. And now we're dark again here. Well, you guys saw his real color before. Basically that X shape, or that, I guess you would call it more of a Y shape. You see how that headband goes like completely around? It starts from the nose and then wraps itself around the head pattern. This is really desirable to me, and we finally made an Enchi animal that has that amazing headband. And now that he's stretching out, you guys could really like appreciate him. I mean, his pattern is just so cool. I really, really like this animal. And if this is a girl, I would imagine we will keep it because, there you go, real color again. Hoping this is a girl, but I mean, honestly, judging by the length of that tail, it's almost certainly a male, but I'll pop it after the video just to make sure. But yeah, this is an animal that, again, Joseph has wanted to hit on a long time. We need to add Enchi again in there, and we'll just make a stupid looking animal. And by stupid, I mean in a good way. Alright. So, I think this brings us to the really crazy stuff. You are not the really crazy thing, but you certainly are. And I'm actually going to show these two at the same time because I have an idea of what this is, but I'm not too sure what this is. Alright, so Google, oh god damn it. Hold on a sec. There you go. Okay, so Google actually helped me out a lot when it came to finding out what this thing is. I believe this right here is the 5-gene animal, which would be the Superfly Mochi. Because I had looked up, I forget if I had either looked up, I think I put in Superfly Mochi on Google, and the results actually came up with a nuclear, which is a fire lesser or fire butter. Same thing, guys, butter and lesser. A nuclear Superfly Enchi, I believe I looked up. Or it might have just been a a nuclear superfly. And basically it looks relatively the same to this. Now Mojave is different from butter and lesser, but they do both make blue-eyed leucistics, and typically they look kind of the same when you put them in other combos. This animal basically looks, I wouldn't say identical. Like the Mojave animals are more heavily patterned, and basically this looks like that nuclear superfly. And I definitely know Enchi's in it because we have produced a bunch of mochis in the past. So this definitely has that mochi pattern, and it's just, it is blushed out like crazy. It looks like it's on fire. So, which brings me to this thing here. This thing has a white head. So to me, it's definitely a super pastel fire. And I really, because this guy came out first. We're actually lucky. This is a female and that's a male. So this actually came out first. And I thought this was the 5G animal. I actually posted this on our Instagram, and I didn't tell anybody what the pairing was. I just posted it up, and it got quite a bit of likes right away. This is the first time I see a snake that looks like this. It doesn't kind of come up on camera too good, but the body is actually a lot lighter than the head. The head is white. I know it's appearing like it's kind of like pinkish, and it is in the middle, but this thing just looks insane. Like the head is a totally different color from the body. So to me, there has to be fire and super pastel in this thing. But it's missing the more intense pattern. I shouldn't say intense pattern, because the pattern is blushed out quite a bit, but the pattern is really skinny compared to this guy over here. So maybe this is a super pastel fire Enchi, and maybe it's missing Mojave. I thought Mojave was in it because the pattern is kind of brown, like a Mojave would be. But this thing here, I mean, oof, it is insane. It is completely blushed out. Really nice looking animal. So hopefully you guys can help me out a bit, because like I said, I'm pretty sure we hit the 5G animal. I'm just not sure what this one is. But again, it actually would have that crazy looking Y-shaped headband, but the head is so faded out that the yellow actually disappears a little bit. So I'm gonna talk to Joseph, but I'm actually hoping, and now we have bad color. There you go. I'm actually hoping we keep this one because it's a female and it's just crazy. But this guy could perhaps be useful. We actually made a lot of males this year that could replace most of our males. If you think about it, if this guy is the 5 gene male, he has, well, everything he'll make will be pastel because he's a super pastel. And that's, when I say 5 gene, guys, I'm counting pastel twice because it's pastel, pastel, Mojave, Enchi, fire. So this guy right here will eventually be able to replace the Firefly, our Pastel Mochi, and yeah, I guess that's it because pastel's in there twice. And then we have like some of the banana stuff that has like, we got a male that I'm pretty sure has at least 3, possibly 4 genes. And we have our black pastel GHI. So, you know, we have 3 males that are basically going to have like 8 genes in them. So that's pretty cool. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, I'm just absolutely blown away by this animal. I do really like the blushing of this guy right here, but there's just something that looks crazy on this thing. I'm just so excited about this clutch, even more so than the banana clutch, because again, I'm a huge fan of yellow and contrast. So this animal right here, to me are as good as it gets. And Also really hoping that what I think is a fire mochi ends up as a female as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a hell of a long one. I'm just so excited about this season, guys. We have so many animals. We are actually going to be at the Toronto Expo, the CRBE. We're going for both days. So if you guys plan on making the trip and we have something you like, let us know and we'll hold it for you with a deposit, of course. But yeah, guys, we're going to be there, so you'll get a chance to see all of these amazing animals in person, because we still got a good 5 weeks to get them eating frozen. So I hope to see you there. Please come by, say hi. My name's Paul. The other guy who will be with me is Joseph. We worked really hard this year on producing just what we think are really high quality animals. And it's not just going to be ball pythons, guys. It's going to be, hopefully it's going to be rhinos and cave dwellings. It depends on when they hatch. We may bring them, but we may not sell them if they haven't eaten yet. But typically those two snakes are snakes that are easy to get started on food. Not necessarily frozen mice, but they'll probably be eating like minnows, or actually I hear the cave dwellings are really easy to get started on rodents. But yeah, king snakes, corn snakes, leopard geckos, crescent geckos, chihuahua geckos, gargoyle geckos. We're gonna have a ton of stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like us on Facebook, Safari Reptiles. Follow us on Instagram, also Safari Reptiles. And have a great day, guys. Thanks.